From the moment we take our first breath, we begin absorbing the world around us. We learn what society deems acceptable, what's expected of us, and most importantly, how to fit into a system that shapes us often without our conscious awareness. But in that process of adaptation, something precious is lost. Our connection to our true self, that authentic essence that resides deep within our psyche. The great psychologist Carl Jung dedicated his life to exploring this mystery, deciphering the hidden language of the unconscious, and teaching us that if we truly love ourselves, we simply cannot accept less than what we genuinely deserve. Let us talk about the shadow self. How many times have you found yourself stuck in situations that seem normal on the surface, yet leave you feeling completely drained? Perhaps you're in a relationship where you constantly give more than you receive. Maybe you're trapped in a job that fails to fulfill you, but you stay out of fear of change. Or perhaps you're surrounded by people who, instead of lifting you up, only seem to dim your light. Why do we allow this to happen? Jung would tell us that the answer lies in what he called the shadow, that hidden part of ourselves that we prefer not to acknowledge. From an early age, we're taught to suppress certain emotions, to conform to molds that don't always represent who we truly are. We become what we think others want to see. But everything we repress doesn't simply disappear. It hides within our shadow and manifests in unexpected ways, in poor choices, toxic relationships, and repetitive patterns that trap us without us even realizing why. What we refuse to confront within ourselves, we will inevitably encounter externally, disguised as fate. This is why, even though we claim to want love, success, or happiness, we often find ourselves stuck in situations that push us further away from those desires. Deep down, there's a part of us that still doesn't believe we deserve them. True transformation occurs when we dare to look inward, when we stop searching for answers outside ourselves and begin to understand our inner world. At its core, Jung taught us that our unconscious mind is not our enemy, it's a messenger. Everything we experience in the external world is a reflection of what happens within us. If we continue accepting less than we deserve, it's because inside us, there's still a part that doubts, that fears, that hasn't yet realized its true worth. Now imagine for a moment that you wake up one day and discover that everything you've been desperately searching for externally has always been within you. That you don't need validation from others, that you have nothing to prove, that you are already enough. But it's not enough to just imagine it. You must experience it. And that experience begins with a decision, the decision to truly know yourself, to face your shadow, and to stop accepting less than you deserve. So, if you're tired of settling for less and ready to transform your life before this year ends, then I invite you to subscribe and join our Motivation Dose family right now. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Every single day, we deliver powerful insights and wisdom that can help you break free from limiting patterns and step into your true potential. Don't wait another day to start living the life you deserve. Subscribe now, and let's continue this journey together. Moving on, let us dive deep into the power of self-recognition. When you choose to truly love yourself, everything changes. Not magically, but because your actions start coming from a different place. You stop settling for superficial connections because now you know you deserve depth. You stop tolerating unfulfilling situations because you understand that your purpose is greater. You stop justifying mistreatment because you've discovered your own worth. But this process isn't easy. Jung warned that individuation, the journey toward the true self, is a path that requires tremendous courage. Not everyone is willing to walk it, because it means letting go of who we thought we were and daring to discover who we really are. It means leaving behind old beliefs, facing fears, and questioning everything we've been taught. Many prefer to stay within the familiar, even if it means suffering, because the unknown is frightening. But the real question is, how much longer are you willing to keep accepting less? How many more times will you justify what deep down you know isn't right for you? How much longer will you ignore that inner voice telling you there's something more? Life isn't waiting for someone to give you permission to live it as you deserve. There is no perfect moment. No divine sign will tell you the exact time to change. The only sign you need is already within you. It's that discomfort you feel, that sense that something doesn't quite fit, that longing for something more. Do not ignore it. It's your unconscious speaking to you, guiding you toward your true path. When you decide to listen to yourself, when you dare to let go of what no longer resonates with you, something incredible happens. Things start falling into place. The right people arrive. Opportunities appear. Not because the world changed, but because you changed. Because you finally understood that if you love yourself, you cannot accept less. And this is only the beginning. When you begin to recognize your own worth, the dynamics of your life shift. You're no longer operating from a place of need, but from a place of choice. Jung taught us that many of the relationships and circumstances we attract are mirrors of what remains unhealed within us. If you've spent your life accepting less than you deserve, it's because deep down, there's still a part of you that believes that's the most you can hope for. But here's the truth. That belief isn't real. It's just a story you've learned, a program that's been installed in your mind through past experiences, inherited beliefs, or the fear of loneliness. The unconscious mind is powerful. It acts like a magnet, drawing situations that reinforce the beliefs we hold within us. If you believe you're not enough, you'll attract people who make you feel inadequate. If you believe love is painful, you'll unconsciously seek relationships that confirm that belief. This is why so many people remain trapped in patterns that seem never-ending. They change partners, jobs, even cities, but the same problems continue to surface, because the true root of the issue isn't outside, it's within. What you don't heal, what you don't confront, what you don't integrate into your psyche, will continue manifesting in different forms until you finally understand it. Now let us talk about the challenge of growth. The awakening to this truth isn't always easy. There will be moments when you'll feel tempted to go back to what's familiar, because uncertainty can be terrifying. Your mind will try to convince you that better the devil you know than the angel you don't. But that's the biggest illusion of all. The comfort zone isn't a safe place. It's a space of stagnation disguised as stability. And the longer you stay there, the more you delay the life you were truly meant to live. Carl Jung spoke about shadow integration as one of the fundamental keys to living a full and authentic life. The shadow consists of all those aspects of yourself that you've repressed, denied, or hidden because at some point you were led to believe they were unacceptable. Many times, accepting less than what you truly deserve is a manifestation of that shadow. It's allowing limiting beliefs to dictate your life instead of confronting and transforming them. This is where the real work begins. The key isn't in trying to change others, expecting the world to treat you better, or forcing someone to recognize your worth. The key lies in doing the internal work, questioning your beliefs honestly, observing your patterns, and asking yourself where your fears come from. When you engage in this self-exploration, something shifts within you. And when you change internally, everything around you begins to change as well. Your relationships start to look different. You stop chasing people who are emotionally unavailable because you no longer seek external validation. The places where you once felt compelled to fit in begin to feel foreign, because your sense of self no longer depends on external acceptance. You learn to move with greater confidence, to make decisions rooted in self-love rather than fear. Here is where something fascinating happens. Jung spoke about synchronicity, the phenomenon in which meaningful events begin to align almost magically when we're in harmony with our true selves. When you begin to honor yourself, to respect yourself, to treat yourself with the dignity you deserve, the universe responds. Opportunities arise, connections shift, and new paths open, not because they weren't there before, but because you're now able to recognize and receive them. The problem is that many people expect to see external proof before they commit to their inner transformation. They wait for the world to validate them before they dare to trust in their own worth. But the truth is, the change starts with you. You must believe in yourself first. You must choose yourself first. You must give yourself what you need first. And then the world reflects that transformation from the inside out. This process is neither instant nor linear. There will be days when you feel like you're making progress, and others when you doubt everything. There will be moments when the familiar seems tempting, when the discomfort of growth makes you consider settling for what you already know. But every time you face that doubt, remember this: self-love isn't a destination, it's a practice. It isn't something that simply happens, it's something you choose every single day. When you decide to live from this perspective, your life transforms. Not because external circumstances immediately change, but because the way you interact with them does. As you embrace true self-love, you begin to notice something interesting. The people and situations you once tolerated now feel unbearable. What you used to excuse, you now see clearly. What you once justified, you now recognize for what it truly is. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. This is the point where many people face a crucial test. When you realize you've been accepting less than you deserve, you're left with a decision. Do you continue on the same path out of fear of change, or do you take a chance on yourself, even if it means letting go of what no longer resonates with you? Letting go isn't always easy. Carl Jung once said that the human psyche clings to what is familiar, because change represents the unknown, and the unknown awakens our deepest fears. But here's a truth that few will tell you. Nothing truly valuable can come into your life while you continue to hold on to what no longer belongs to you. Take a moment to look around. Observe the relationships you have, the environment you move in, and the way you're living your life. Ask yourself with absolute honesty, does this reflect who I truly am? Am I in a place where my soul feels at peace, or am I constantly battling against something that deep down I know isn't meant for me? Let's move on to the signs of change. It's easy to fall into the trap of habit, to seek comfort in the predictable. But if you insist on clinging to what no longer resonates with you, the only thing you'll achieve is getting stuck in a life that doesn't truly belong to you. Life is always sending you signs, small indications that something needs to change. A relationship that drains you, a job that weighs heavily on you, a circle of people who no longer vibrate at the same frequency as you. But these signs are useless if you choose to ignore them. Your unconscious is always communicating with you. Every time you feel emotionally drained after being around someone, every time your intuition whispers that a certain place isn't for you, every time something inside you feels unsettled for no apparent reason, it's your psyche trying to guide you. The real question is, are you willing to listen? Jung taught us that individuation, the process of becoming your truest self, requires passing through moments of solitude, uncertainty, and doubt. Because as you shed what you're not, you'll pass through an empty space before discovering what truly belongs to you. And many people are unwilling to go through that emptiness. They'd rather hold on to what's familiar, even if it's causing them harm. But the void isn't your enemy. It's a sacred space where the new can enter. It's the bridge between the life you've been living and the life you truly desire. It's the opportunity to rebuild from the ground up, free from the limitations of the past. When you finally choose to let go, something incredible happens. Your energy shifts, your mind clears, and suddenly you begin to attract situations that once seemed impossible. Not because they were impossible before, but because you were too occupied holding on to what was never truly yours. The universe responds to those who have the courage to align with their truth. But to reach that point, you must ask yourself a crucial question. What part of me is afraid to let go? Because behind every attachment, there's a story, a deep-seated belief that convinces you to hold on to what you should have released long ago. Maybe you believe that if you let go of that relationship, you'll never find something better. Maybe you think that if you leave that job, no other opportunity will come your way. Maybe you feel that if you distance yourself from certain people, you'll end up alone. But here's the truth. You cannot lose what is truly meant for you. What is yours by right of consciousness will never leave. And what leaves was never really yours to begin with. They were lessons, chapters of your story that had to end so that new ones could begin. Life isn't about clinging, it's about flowing. And in order to flow, you must trust that when one door closes, a better one will open. But that door will only reveal itself when you have the courage to release what no longer resonates with you. Look within. Observe the areas of your life where you've been settling for less than you deserve. And ask yourself, if I truly loved myself, what would I be willing to let go of today? When you begin to release what no longer aligns with you, something inside you shifts irreversibly. This isn't just a superficial decision. It's a profound transformation in how you relate to yourself and the world. And not everyone will welcome this change. There will be people who try to make you doubt yourself, who will tell you that you're overreacting, that you're being selfish, or that you should simply settle for what you have. Not because they want to harm you, but because your growth challenges their own comfort. Carl Jung taught us that when someone begins to awaken, they often become a threat to those who aren't yet ready to do so. At this point, many people retreat. They feel the pressure of their environment, the fear of being alone, the uncertainty of not knowing what comes next. But this is where you must remember something fundamental. The path to your authenticity isn't designed to be understood by everyone. You cannot expect others to see what you see, nor can you expect them to validate your journey. It's yours and yours alone. More often than not, the greatest obstacle isn't fear of the future, but resistance to letting go of the past. We cling to relationships that no longer nurture us because it's difficult to accept that some connections have an expiration date. We hold on to jobs that no longer fulfill us because fear of the unknown paralyzes us. We remain attached to identities that no longer represent us because we've built our entire lives around them. But the truth is, none of these things define who you are. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. And you are not the stories others have told about you. If you're serious about transforming your life before this year ends, I urge you to take action right now. Subscribe to Motivation Dose and hit that notification bell to join thousands of others who are on this journey of self-discovery and growth. Every single day, we deliver powerful insights just like these that can help you break through limitations and step into your true potential. Don't let another day pass by settling for less than you deserve. Subscribe now, become part of our community, and let's walk this path of transformation together. Your future self will thank you for the decision you make today. Jung reminded us that true identity isn't found on the surface, but deep within the unconscious. And only when you have the courage to go there, to look at your shadow without fear, do you discover who you truly are. When you start living from that authenticity, the world reacts. Not because you've changed externally, but because your energy has changed. You no longer vibrate at the frequency of lack, fear, or the need for approval. And when that happens, the doors that once seemed closed begin to open, not because you're forcing them to, but because for the first time in your life, you're in harmony with yourself. That's where real magic happens. That's where synchronicities appear, where opportunities arise effortlessly, where the right people enter your life without you having to chase them. Because abundance isn't something you pursue, it's something you attract when you're aligned with your truth. But to get there, a price must be paid. Not in the sense of sacrifice, but in the sense of letting go of everything you're not. Letting go of the limiting beliefs, the relationships that no longer nourish you, the fears that hold you back. And this is a price many are unwilling to pay because it requires a brutal level of honesty with oneself. You must look in the mirror and ask yourself uncomfortable questions. Why are you still in a place you know isn't meant for you? What part of you has been sabotaging your own growth? What stories have you been telling yourself that have made you settle for less than what you truly deserve? There are no shortcuts in this process. There are no magic formulas or instant solutions. There is only one undeniable truth. If you truly love yourself, you cannot keep living in a state of complacency. You cannot continue betraying the part of you that has not yet realized its own worth. But that can change right now, in this very moment. Because awakening doesn't happen at some distant point in the future. It happens the moment you decide to see the truth and act accordingly. You don't have to wait for something external to confirm that it's time to change. You don't need someone else's validation. You don't need more signs. The only sign you need is already inside you. It's that feeling of discomfort, that longing for something more, that quiet certainty that you were created for something much greater. True self-love isn't a superficial idea of self-esteem. It's the radical decision to align with who you really are, without compromise, without excuses, without fear. It's the most powerful act of freedom there is. And when you make that decision, life has no choice but to respond in kind. Remember, you deserve everything you've been afraid to ask for. You deserve everything you've been settling without. You deserve to live a life that reflects who you truly are, not who you've been conditioned to be. The moment you decide to stop accepting less than you deserve is the moment your entire life begins to transform. And that moment can be now. The choice is yours. Thank you for listening. If this message touched your heart, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, this is Motivation Dose, reminding you that you are worthy of everything you desire, and so much more.